Hey, everybody. It's a Monday edition of Box Seats. I'm your host, Frank Holder. This is the comedy show or a comedy sports show where comedy meets sports. We talk a lot about sports, but we do it with comedians. And these comedians have been in a lot of things. They've been in all kinds of specials. They've been in comedy tours. They've been in comedy films. They've done everything that you can pertain to comedy. And now we decided, you know what? Let's have a talk show where these comics can talk about sports. Up first is my man, Talent. Talent, how you doing, bro? How was your weekend?
Hey, good weekend, Frank. I'm on top of the world, baby.
That's good to hear, man. Look like you still enjoying the weekend with that bed in the back there. Yeah,
the whole week's gonna be a weekend.
We're gonna talk about that off the air, but this is a kid show. This is a kid show. Fig, what's up, man? How you doing, bro?
Hey, what the deal, man? I'm back. I'm back in the building.
Yeah, good to hear. My man Fig's in the building too. Let me bring in another comedian known around the world as Mr. Rodney Perry. Rodney Perry, how you doing, brother? How's your weekend?
Good, gentlemen.
All right, let me also bring in my man, Mr. Ben Sealy. He is our sports connoisseur. Man, thank you for joining the show, brother. We appreciate you.
Connoisseur.
Thank you. Hello, gentlemen.
All right, you guys know how we do. We always get down first with the COVID report. The funny thing is the COVID report this morning came in a couple of a couple of waves. First wave I saw was the IOC, which is the International Olympic Committee, said that they sent out a letter to all the athletes, to basically waive a lot of their concerns. Talent, I also saw this morning, like literally an hour after that the Japanese newspaper, which is the best newspaper or the biggest newspaper in Japan, is screaming, and I mean screaming, for Japanese officials to cancel the Olympics. What's your thoughts, Talent?
Man, when you say that, it's like if the people in your own backyard are telling you what to do and you're still saying we're going full forward ahead with it, I just think at this point it's becoming asinine, man. It's becoming a redundant story that everybody and their mother, other than the committee, and even some people in the committee not going, saying, hey, man, maybe this is not the time. And again, I reiterate what I said last week. You don't have to cancel it. Just give yourself a cushion, a safety cushion, if you will, for the next 4 to 6 months. That's what I think.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. Fig, check this out. It also still along the lines of what's going on. The Olympics is now not letting any fans at any event. Along the same thing, they still want everybody to leave their concerns, but no fans are allowed at any of the events. Your thoughts?
Man, it's crazy to me, man. It's like it. Man, this is indicative of something that America would do. I can't see it in Japan, but clearly this mindset is across the country, worldwide, is that it's money over human life. It's like they're not willing to forego the amount of money that the Olympics will make in order to ensure the safety of the athletes.
Yeah, no surprise. Rodney Perry, let me throw it to you now and say this. We know now there's nobody there and everything else. The Olympics is also stated when it comes to the sponsorship dollars and everything like that, that it's all up to NBC and there will be no money given back if it's forfeited. So what's your thoughts?
Man, and I've said this, I mean, in terms of this whole Olympic thing, and I mean, it feels like on one day that this whole COVID thing is clearing up and going away. Maybe that's just the way I feel because I'm here in America. But I mean, on a global scale, it seems like it's clearing up. There's way less cases. But then you see a story like this and go, well, maybe this shit not clearing up. So, I mean, I don't know how to even begin to comment on this. I feel like it's way over my pay grade. And to me, the NBA was an indicator for the whole COVID thing at the beginning, and even the NBA is pulling up and laxing now, and so maybe this Olympic is the newest indicator.
Right. Amir, the facts are this. COVID is now hitting the second wave somewhere across the world. There's now supposed to be this Delta strand. Maybe it's supposed to be in Japan and everything else, but this is where we are. What's your thoughts?
I think, again, this is one of those situations that is really unfortunate. We are, trying to do the best we can, obviously, to cope with what they're calling, the new way the world is going to be seen. But this sucks on all accounts because to points that have been made, on previous shows, and including, you go 4 years preparing for this moment. And, to possibly have that moment taken away, or even, to Talent's point, have it postponed or, moved back, which to me sounds like the best thing to do. It just sucks. And then no fans. You don't want to go for a world record in front of nobody. Who the hell is there to cheer you on with nobody in the damn stadium? What world record is that? What do you come away with that? How do you put that in your annals for things that you've done that are amazing with nobody there to see it? So it just it's terrible all around. But again, I'm hoping that they cancel it, or like I said, the Talent's point, they postpone it and move it back a little bit, and just really see where things are so that nobody gets hurt from all of this. We don't want to see people getting hurt. I don't care what the
Absolutely right. I didn't even think about the fact of breaking the world record and nobody in the stands. That part didn't even cross my mind.
Right.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Hey, Frank, I appreciate Amir's clinical term that is the consensus of everybody. It sucks.
Yeah, like that's what it fair. Everything else. Let me move on to the next story. I'm not sure if you guys heard about this next story, but ex-NFL player Kevin Ware was a tight end. He is being questioned right now. He's being held without bond. He's being questioned because his girlfriend has been gone missing for several days. He's in Houston. Her name is Taylor Pomaski. She's missing and everything else. I'm gonna throw it to you, Talent. I'm gonna say, this dude has been noted to be extremely violent since he left the NFL and everything else. I think it's a CTE issue. I think, people are still reasoned by the CTE things. I think, because he was a tight end, he played in that position. Obviously, when you lead with your head and you get tackled a lot and everything else, I think it's a CTE issue. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not a doctor. But when you hear another NFL player is off the handle, you know what I mean? And basically look like his girlfriend is missing. The police are saying they murdered her, kidnapped, did something. They don't even know where she's at, but they're throwing it out there that they think he murdered her. What is your thoughts when you hear about this right now?
Man, this CTE thing is getting crazier by the minute. If this is a CTE situation, bro, we done seen it all. We done watched over the last just short of a decade of it go from suicide, hurting oneself, to hurting your family, to hurting, people you're involved with down the line. And this thing is getting worse and worse. I mean, they have every right to suspect him, and to like get to the bottom of this, man. Because if he's given any indication of CT, we now know what it's capable of. And I think they're doing the right thing.
I absolutely agree. Fig, your thoughts?
Hey, man, I echo everything that Talent said. I think the CTE thing is getting extremely out of hand, and I'll go as far as to say that it's reached epidemic proportions, because anybody who would say that LeBron James is the GOAT and the best basketball player that have ever played the game, I want to know if they're suffering from CTE. It's reached an epidemic proportion.
You can't make this stuff up.
Yeah, you really can't. All I can do is just listen to this. And
Rodney got CTE.
Yeah, let me see what Rodney. What's your thoughts when you hear about this, man?
First of all, I won't blend the topics. We're talking about one thing, not another. LeBron is the best human player of this era. We know that. That's a fact. Whether it's CTE or not, that's a fact. Okay. Talk about this young man. First of all, the story has nothing to do with CTE. Frank made that part up. I'm looking through the story of that mother. Nobody bring up CTE, but Frank Holder. You gonna just tell him to bring the man life. His wife is missing.
For the record, I'm gonna send you the article I read after this. For the record,
the article I read don't have nothing to do with CTE.
You gotta
read this. This dude is a killer. This guy is a murderer.
Yes,
okay?
Murderer.
I need you to look at him. He did it. I don't know what he did, but this dude did it. And let's stop looking at these guys, okay? Let's start looking at these women. These women is going around getting on people's nerves. If you get on a man, if your husband look like this, leave him alone. and please accept my humble apology for being sensitive. But if your husband look like this, let that man relax when he get off work.
Amir, what's your thoughts on this, bro?
Football, again, gladiator sport requires a lot of people or men, technically using brute force and exerting energy in a way that probably isn't natural. To know that, that is the crux of what the sport is and how it's played, you really do have to wonder, what is the turn down for that? Like, how do these dudes, decompress, as clinical people would say. But, to this particular story, you pray that, it isn't what they're saying it is. Obviously, based off of that mugshot, though, things do look a little suspect. The way Rodney put it. But, again, the league itself, or the sport itself, should take a better hard look at how these players are able to decompress and what they utilize in order to kind of stand down. So it's something that they do need to look into.
I would say Rodney Perry does make a good point. This dude does look guilty.
Y'all ain't right, man. Y'all ain't right.
I know, y'all. I hate to have to be on the jury. Like, I hate
that's somebody's uncle at the cookout somewhere.
Hey, you know what?
Listen,
whatever he making, I'm eating.
Yeah. Y'all stupid. Hey, I've never seen a flattering mugshot in my entire life. I've never seen one.
No.
So when you got a mugshot, everybody look guilty in their mugshot.
All right, let me go on to the next story, because the next story is kind of crazy too. I don't know if you all heard about this, but Christian Eriksen, he played for Denmark. He had a heart attack and died on the field on Saturday.
He played what?
I said soccer. I said Denver soccer player. He died on the field on Saturday. Now, here's the crazy part, the real crazy part. They resuscitated him, and the officials went to the team and everything else and asked them what they felt about playing again and everything else. Then they got grouped together, and then they decided that they were going to continue playing the game. The next day, obviously, a lot of the players had some issues with that. We need to at least think that part through, because one of our players on the team actually died and got resuscitated on the field. Now, it's crazy to have that thought process, but I can't even imagine how the players must have felt. But Talent, what's your thought on that? Hear about that? Can you imagine your teammate dying on the field, then you can play the rest of the game?
Well, here's the important thing that's missing in there, Frank, is I watched this when it happened over the weekend. And when they resuscitated the player, he came all the way back to coherency to the point where he sent a message to the team to finish the game. Mm-hmm. It's not like the team just said, well, screw him, keep playing. Like, they were messed up, because if you look at the footage, while they're working on him on the field, they are arm locked and creating a barrier so, the fans or whatever, the cameras can't really see what's going on as they resuscitate him. And, they create this wall, this human wall. When he comes through and back to coherency, he issued a statement and got in touch with his team and said he want them to finish the match. So in that essence of the thing, you get that camaraderie, like, yo, we're going to do it for our boy. I mean, they lost. But they went into it with the right. I was watching this story, and I just knew the story was going to end with good news. And then the commentator said, yeah, to no avail. I said, to no avail? I mean, they did what they were supposed to do. What are you going to do if you lose a player like that? The man, like you said, he died on the field, they brought him back, and that player says to you as a teammate, go get him, Amir. You're going to try to go get him. You might get knocked the hell out. Now you in the same hospital room next to him.
No, man, listen. I'll tell you what the team said. right before the game, they had just got finished watching Trading Places. And in the words of Randolph about Mortimer Duke, when he had a heart attack, he said, "F him, we got to finish this game," pretty much. So, they didn't care. It was like the game must go on. Because listen, if you forfeit that game and you lose, the fans might kill all the players on the team because you know that is a serious sport and they serious about their soccer. Fans will kill the athlete if you lose the game for them. Soccer is very serious.
Riley Perry, your thoughts?
You know, I'm gonna take another approach at this. You're the other team. A guy dies. You cannot lose. You cannot have. You can't be the. You're the butt of those jokes forever. It never goes away. So y'all couldn't beat them with the dead guy. So I get it. They didn't run up the score. It was only 1 point, but yeah, they could have scored 15 points. That would have been too much. So 1 point, a victory. Well done, other team.
Amir, your thoughts?
You know, it's funny. I didn't hear about this story, but you know, now hearing it and hearing how things progressed. That's a bit of a catch-22 because, even for the teammates, like you said, you watch one of your team members, pass away, they resuscitate them. Again, they, like Talon said, they're standing with their arms locked. He wakes up, comes out of it. Go get him. I'm not sure about that. I'm having some reservations, bro. You just came back from the dead, my dude. I'm not sure if I want to finish this game at all. I'm having some second thoughts about this whole thing. Life, a whole bunch of things is running through my mind. But to their credit, they took
Amir.
Yes.
Amir, he died, and when he came back, he told him God said to finish the game.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That's different, man. That's a whole different thing. You know what I mean?
First of all, I'm so mad at y'all as black people because people are dying and we still got to be cool. Yo, you just died, my dude.
The sad part is y'all are making jokes on the dude who died.
Yo, that's a lot. But, thankfully they did finish the game. And, like Rodney just said, it was only a 1-zip situation. So too much craziness could jump off, hopefully, from that. So that's a lot, though. Wow.
Rodney, why are you crying, bro? Why are you crying?
I'm the goalie. I can't see the ball. I want to stop the ball. I cannot see it. He was my friend.
Yeah.
Oh, and you know what, y'all? It's only Monday. It's Monday. This is how we gonna start the show. All right, let me ask you all the question of the day for me before we talk about the NBA. Right, the question of the day for me, and I know I'm gonna ruffle some feathers, but I intend to do that. Is did the late start of the NBA season affect some teams? Because you guys remember that LeBron James came out adamantly at the beginning of the season saying that he didn't like the fact they were in the finals and they had a very, very short turnaround. Now, lo and behold, the Lakers are not in the finals. Hell, they didn't even make it far in the playoffs. Miami didn't make it. A lot of teams that were in the playoff mix last year are not really in the playoff mix this year.
Everybody that wasn't shit last year is in the mix.
Basically. So, Talon, I'm going to ask you before we talk about the games of the weekend and everything else, I'm going to start out this thing and ask you, did the late start of the NBA affect with COVID and everything else, did that affect some teams that we just not really paying attention to that? What's your thoughts?
Here we go with these new miraculous stats. I tell you, we keep making this shit up as we go. The most consecutive losses between March and April. What the fuck? Listen. Everybody had the same amount to get ready, same preparation. They got the same dumbbells and barbells.
Not true, but go ahead.
Listen, Everybody else hear something? Every gym, whether you're working out in Phoenix, Detroit, New York, Boston, don't matter. You get the same dumbbells, barbells, same opportunity to be ready, to be in shape, and to prepare. I don't want to hear, because, you know what, Rodney? Tell your wife you ain't ready because you had sex yesterday. Do it again tomorrow. You'll be divorced. You cannot rely on that as an excuse. How come, the better question, Frank, is how come every time LeBron does not reach a milestone or achieve what we think he was or hope he was, we got to find a reason why he didn't reach said milestone? I don't think it started too soon. I don't think that had an effect on everything. The problem is LeBron and the Lakers went shopping in between seasons, right? And they bought all the wrong groceries.
All right. Okay. Let me ask Fig his point. Fig, what's your point?
The big thing here is that let's just say what is. Players get hurt every year, every single year. From the top teams, players get injured every single year. Number two, they had 4 months off. All of the teams had 4 months off due to COVID. That's never happened in an NBA season. They all came back at the same time. And here's the last stat. Every year, only 2 teams get to the finals. And then when the next season starts off, those 2 teams have the least amount of rest of every other team in the NBA because those 2 teams went to the finals and they were the last 2 teams to play before the next season started. So there are no excuses. I don't care whether you start 1 month, 2 months, everybody started at the same time, and it's the same exact way every single year, with the caveat, like I said before, they had 4 months off prior.
All right, let's see who Rodney Perry's talking to. Let's see what his thoughts are. Rodney
No, I'm trying to listen to these guys. No, hey, I'm hit you back, dog. I'm you know. Yeah, the Davis promoting your name again. I know it don't bother you, but it just get on my nerve. Yeah. Hey man, I love the show HBO Max. Well done, man. Hey, all right.
Talking to LeBron.
All right, I'll call you back. Hey, Talent. LeBron said, "What's up, Fig?" He said nothing to you. I know. First of all, I didn't bring this up on purpose because I didn't want to deal with the vitriol that I have to deal with as y'all constantly attack this man for being great. It was a quick turnaround. We're talking less than 90 days for the 2 teams that was in the finals. Less than 90 days, or they were back playing. Not back preparing to play. I'm talking about December. They just stopped in like what, October, and we were, the NBA was back up and running just to stay on track and not further throw it off further into this year. So I mean, is it fair? Life ain't fair. I'll wrap my mind around that. Life ain't fair.
Mm-hmm.
You know, LeBron, life ain't fair, but is it a fact that they had the shortest off season ever?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Can we say that there's more injuries across the board?
Mm-hmm.
But everybody, forget LeBron James.
Mm-hmm.
Can you open the whole screen up so I can see who's talking about? LeBron James. It's a ton of injuries across the board. Chris Paul, how you go from your shoulder not hurting to now your shoulder just wonderful 2 days later? But that's another story.
Yeah, that's another story. That's another story. Amir, what's your thoughts? Did the NBA start back too soon? Was it fair for everybody? What's your thoughts?
Well, I think again, like they said, life isn't fair. Unfortunately, again, we're in unprecedented times when it comes to sports and everything else going on in the world. I think that they, not that they started too soon, but you have to take into account the amount of wear and tear, whether y'all love or hate LeBron or not. This dude has played more playoff games and all kind of stuff than most players have played regular season. So his ability to try to heal up or do whatever he does in his off season, he obviously didn't have that. It affected his game. It is what it is. Now, for all the people, it's excuses and this and that and the third. There's excuses for everybody. There's excuses for everything. That's a part of life. Does it make it right or wrong? No, but we have to deal with it. I love the fact that, like I said, last week when I mentioned to y'all, we talk about the claw. 46, 45, 37, 3 games back to back. I didn't hear anybody, not saying that Kawhi isn't great anymore and this and that and the third. We got to stop. We pick and choose the excuses that support our train of thought or whatever craziness we want to put in the world. But then when it comes to everybody else, I'm not going to say that about him or her. Stop. It is what it is. Life is what it is, y'all.
I'll say this.
Question.
I'll say, hold on, Fig. I'll say this. LeBron James, hold on, Fig. LeBron James has more hate than any other athlete I've seen in the natural era. He just does. You know what I mean? He creates a long conversation. He creates, but people either love him or they hate him, but he drives the ratings. I mean, that's why it is what it is. You know what I mean? So, before we jump into the NBA, Fig, go ahead. What you wanted to add?
What was the question? Was this a LeBron James question? How do we get to talking about LeBron James? Because
the question was, what the shortened season affect LeBron James?
I just wanted
the shortened season affected everybody. It
affected everybody at the same time.
It did.
Why didn't we talk about Jimmy Butler? Did it affect Jimmy Butler? Did it affect?
I'm sure it did. I'm sure it did.
Like there's other players in the NBA.
It affected the Heat too. Like Rodney started off saying, he said those two teams, or you said they played all the way up until the very end. They turned around. The Heat and both went home in the first round.
It happens every year. It happens every
It's not the
single
same,
year.
Fig.
No, it doesn't.
It's not the same, Fig.
No.
How many champions have you seen get out the first round the following year, Fig?
And let me just say this.
And the bubble, y'all just missed the bubble. The bubble was hard on teams.
Gentlemen, we can't hear everybody at the same time.
There are some teams. Can I say there are some teams that have won 1 year, go back the next year, they win a game. They go back the next year, they win a game. All of those teams that have 3-peats, they were the only ones who were the last team to play, but came back the next year the same time as everybody else, and they won again. And they were able to do it most of the time, a lot of the times 3 times in a row. There are a few teams in the NBA that have won 3 championships in a row. The Lakers have done it. The Bulls have done it. There's teams that go back to back, and there's teams that have won it 3 times in a row. So this happens all the time in the NBA.
You cannot be serious with this point, Fig.
Fig, it's not the same thing because the NBA. I'm sorry, go ahead. The NBA normally has 6 months time in between. Now, from the time the end of the season, from the time of the finals to the time of they normally have 6 months between the NBA finals to the start of the season. This season, if you were in the finals, you had literally 80 days. It's not the same.
But didn't they get 4 months off before that?
No,
they don't. Didn't the season interrupted for 4 months?
Okay, how about this, Fig? You at your job, right? You at your job. You have your lunch break every day at 12. Tomorrow, your lunch break gonna be at 7 a.m. You got a 7 a.m. lunch break. Same day, same 12-hour day. But you get there at 7. You get there at 6:45. Your lunch is at 7.
4 months.
No. 1 day.
4 months.
You got 1 day. Listen to me. You got 1 day. You got a job, a regular job.
4 months.
You don't want to talk.
4 months they had off. 4 months.
They don't know they'll come back to work or not. See, that ain't a fair assessment.
That's not a fair assessment. It's not.
They don't know. They
Not playing.
don't know. They don't know when they come back to work.
Teams did the same thing. All of the teams that played in the playoffs and in the play-in, they all had 4 months off. Everybody had 4 months.
We gonna move on.
First of all, I don't like the way your fingers look.
We're gonna move on because we're gonna just agree to disagree. We're gonna agree to disagree. We're gonna agree to disagree. All right, because at the end of the day, one people gonna believe another. And in my opinion, and I'm gonna
think Fred got CTE.
In my opinion, I think it did affect some NBA teams more than others. I think it did because some NBA teams, regardless of the time they had off, some teams still couldn't get past the COVID. It's just the way it is. So that's I wanted to throw that up there because now we're talking about the new NBA playoffs this year, and now look what we're looking at. Now I want to talk about this Phoenix Suns series because what nobody's talking about is the great job that Monty Williams did by being able to get the Phoenix Suns this far in the playoffs. Nobody's talking about that. Yes, Chris Paul right now is the MVP doing what he did, but Chris Paul, maybe one other player, is the only addition that came to the Phoenix Suns. And in the bubble, this is the reason why I brought up the first thing, in the bubble, they were undefeated even though they didn't make it to the rest of the playoffs. You guys remember that? They were in the bubble, undefeated.
They got Crowder too. Crowder helps too.
I said one other player. Crowder does help, but Chris Paul is the big thing. But listen, I don't care what you say, Rodney. You can't steal the shine from Monty Williams. Monty Williams is a hell of a coach, and he brought the Phoenix Suns to where they are right now. But anyway, my question to you, Talent, I'm going to start out with you first and everything else. Now, looking back at the Suns series right now and where Phoenix did, they swept I forgot the team there. They swept
Denver.
Thank you. I couldn't think of the name. Mind block. They swept Denver, and they're in the Western Conference Finals, first finals ever for Chris Paul. Monty Williams, should have been Coach of the Year in some people's eyes. What's your thoughts right now on all of this, Talent? What you thinking?
He's not that great.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, let me explain something to you, man. I'm a man that's been for 30 years. I've been seeing greatness all over the world. He's not that great. He's a good coach. Shouldn't have got Coach of the Year. That went to the right guy. But what's in his favor is consistency. The man, a lot of people sometimes they have a good team one year and then the next year they do something wrong. And I hate to go back to the analogy I just used, but it's like the Lakers. They went shopping and they bought all the wrong groceries. They swapped out the mangoes for the cantaloupes, and it didn't work for the environment. You know what I mean? So what Monty did, he had a winning team already. Didn't swap out stuff. He just added some seasoning. Yes. Crowder is seasoning. Chris Paul is seasoning. And he's a consistent coach. So his coaching, it told him from the last playoffs last year that he was doing something right. He just needed some pieces, a little bit, not a lot. He didn't need to throw a LeBron or AD, or he didn't need nothing that big. He just needed some seasoning. They added the seasoning. The organization did that. They stayed the course. And that consistency continues. And this is why they are where they are today. Now, they swept Denver. Denver's good, but Denver wasn't good enough. It doesn't make Monty any great or whatever. And you put it out there, Frank, like a true Boston dude, real cocky. When you sweep a team, all of a sudden you don't remember who you played. They just swept. Who we played? Who we played? Nigga, you know who you played. The game was last night. Spoken like a true Celtic. Hey, who did we just sweep 7 hours ago? What's their name?
That's hilarious. Fig, what's your thoughts?
Yo, man, listen. I'll be honest with you. If Monty Williams would have won, I wouldn't have been mad. My only difference between Thibodeau, Coach Tibbs, and Monty Williams is Monty Williams clearly had the better players. I mean, Devin Booker, we saw what he did in the bubble. He was a young player, and we knew that he had star potential, and he was on the come up. Ayton, this is only his 3rd year. You add a veteran like Chris Paul, Crowder, who is a dog. I mean, he knocks down threes. He plays defense. Frank, you know that he was a former Celtic. These are two players, like Talon said, man. They added the proper seasoning, and it just made the team go over the top, man. And they were in a bubble last year. I mean, they went 8-0. They wasn't able to make it into the playoff because other teams had better records than them. But we saw them coming. I mean, I saw them coming. Frank, you talked about them in the beginning of the year. Did we see this? I didn't see all this. I didn't see them be able to sweep Denver, and the fact that they didn't have Murray, that was big. The fact that and that's their best point guard. So I think Monty Williams did an excellent job, man, and he continues to do so, man. I think he's an excellent coach.
Rodney Perry, your thoughts?
I mean, short answer is we love to see black coaches do well. That's a good deal. Well done. He seemed like a great guy. Watching him do his press conferences and stuff. But I mean, you sweep a Denver with half the firepower that they normally have without Jamal Murray, and you even get the Joker riled up to slap somebody in the face. I mean, get his ass thrown out too. So it's just like, don't believe this hype. Like, Coach ain't no nice guy, man. I could tell. You tell about how to the Phoenix Suns kill me with all this little friendly face. They ain't friendly. These guys is killers. They dogs, and they came to play. Monty, great season. Y'all talk about so who won Coach of the Year?
Tom Thibodeau.
Thibodeau. What team he coached?
Really? I tell you what team he
The
don't
Lakers.
Coach.
He coached the Lakers.
No, he never been that lucky.
Exactly.
He never be that lucky. And here goes. I hope the Knicks don't go back to being who they are.
I hope you get your own team called the Mad Hatters.
Amir, what you think, bro? What you think?
You know what? I thought that obviously the job Monty Williams has done as well as Booker, Chris Paul, the other gentleman. I first of all, I just think it's fun and exciting to see some new faces and some new talent, first and foremost, rising to the occasion. So I was happy to see that. The jury's still out to me only in this regard. The Joker didn't have his ace in the hole. He didn't have his small Joker. We know how explosive and how much more prepared they were last year in the bubble. Those two guys going back and forth. And I think the additions of Michael Parker Jr. and the other gentleman, Aaron, next year, if they can keep all of those pieces and those guys can find a way to coexist, they're going to be a force to reckon with as well. So, again, you got to give them their props for what happened, in this particular series and the way that things played out. But I'm still, got to wait and see on certain things, because when you play against teams that don't have their full firepower and you beat them, it's great. But we know that sometimes when you don't have your full firepower, that kind of gives you a leg up. So, again, great job by all parties involved.
Right. Talon, do you think that foul, that flagrant 2 foul on the Joker was a flagrant foul, bro, and everything else? Were you happy when you saw that call? Because to me, that ruined the game for me. I was enjoying the game, but that ruined the game for me when I saw it, because it took the whole – Denver was already losing the game, but the game was exciting. The momentum of the game, the possibility the MVP might get them to come back in the game and all that. But once that happened, which to me, he should not have been thrown out of the game, and it was a horrible call to me.
Yeah, that was a horrible call. That call was not a flagrant 2. In the replay, you could clearly see, and swiping the reach across for the ball, this part of the arm hit him. So if you hit him with this, that's like you're going to hit somebody. But you can see that went past towards where the ball was. And unfortunately, he's a big guy. So this part caught him. Yeah, it was hard, probably hurt a little bit or whatever, but it was not an ejection, flagrant 2. And it's a black eye on the game to make that call, because just 48 hours before, you gave this guy MVP.
Yeah. And let's not forget either. He did hit all ball too. That part, they're not even talking about that part.
But you see, Frank, when you reach for anything, your hand is the lead of your arm.
Right.
It's like a kick. The foot is the lead of the leg. That's what's leading the way. So if you see that hand leading past this man's face to go to the ball, and you get caught with this, You know it's not a flagrant 2.
Yeah, clearly not a flagrant. Clearly not a flagrant. Fig, I know you was discussing with the call too, right?
Actually, no. To be honest with you, you really can see. I'm gonna tell you why, because you can see it with he reached a level of frustration and the whole wind up, the way he did it. I mean, I've seen guys go for the ball before, but he clearly was frustrated. He wound up like he reared back to go get the ball. Now, do I think he meant to hit the other player in the face? Absolutely not. I thought that was an accident. But here's the thing: in the NBA, when the referees make a call, the one thing that they cannot do is they can't referee intent, because that means you have to know what's in the player's mind, which is impossible. So all you could do is referee what you actually see. It was a windup. The kid got hit in the face pretty hard. You know what I mean? And it by the letter of the law, that was a flagrant 2, and he had to throw him out of the game. Again, I didn't think that.
Why is it a flagrant 2?
But that had nothing to do with anything. What'd you say, Talent?
Why is it a flagrant 2 again?
Because of the windup, and then he got hit above the shoulders.
That's what they call it. That's what they call it.
That's the definition of what a flagrant 2 is. Like when you almost like when Carmelo Anthony goes for a block shot and he swings his arm way back and then he gets the ball. If he happens to miss the ball and slap somebody in the face, they call that a flagrant 2, because it's a wind up and you hit the guy above the shoulders. That's the definition of a flagrant 2.
Rodney Perry, your thoughts?
They were consistent throughout the playoffs with this call. Like Fig just said, a wind up, hit above the shoulders is gonna get you a flagrant 2. He too big to be hitting on anybody. Okay, he hit this little dude. The guy, this kid, man, is from the Fat Albert series, man, and this kid lived many years ago. This kid come from the cartoon era, man, and
what's going on?
And you can't be hitting him in the face, man. He mess around and erase his whole face.
So what you say? He's a Fat Albert character? That's what you say?
He's absolutely one of the kids from Fat Albert. I've mentioned that during the playoffs.
I can't, man. This is why I voted for shortening the weekend.
Yeah.
So anyway, like I was saying, the kid he didn't deserve it. He had to turn around and shake the man's hand and act like he was a good sport, and his nose was hurting. You can't hit a man in the face. I don't care if you hit him with your elbow. Elbows are worse.
Yeah.
Elbows are worse than hands. Elbows? Oh, he just hit him with this. This is the killer.
That's not what caught him, B.
What hit him with, Talent?
Even with the
That's next door to the elbow.
I mean, the same thing. Next door to me is a studio apartment. I got 4 bedrooms.
Oh, we got a lot of stuff to cover. Let's continue.
Hey, look, I think to y'all, to everybody's point. First of all, I think that it was a horrible call. That's just what you call it, and especially growing up watching the game as we have. Today's flagrant fouls and flagrant 2s and all this other stuff that they come up with. We like, really? We used to watch dudes literally get their head taken off, clotheslined, and all kind of stuff. So now that, here, now I'm not condoning anybody getting hurt or anybody trying to hurt anybody. To Fig's point, he probably was frustrated. But you know what? Sometimes a little frustration is what's needed, maybe to jumpstart your team or to jumpstart your teammates. And if you see the leader of your team possibly go after somebody and show a little heart, show a little grit, maybe that's a way for y'all to come back. So I don't agree with the throwing the dude out behind that. Like I said, if he clotheslined the guy, I got you. But the fact that the middle of his arm rubbed against the dude's nose, and like Talon said, clearly you could see he was going for the ball. I don't care about intent. Intent is when you clothesline a dude in the air or you undercut a dude. He goes up and you undercut him. That is intent. That's crazy to me. But that's not it for me. But that's me talking for me. The rules state what they state, so we gotta, at least try to understand that the rules are what they are. So
y'all saying they didn't pull a gun out and shoot to get a foul.
Let's move on. Let's move on. I want to talk about the next series. The next series is Milwaukee Bucks versus Brooklyn Nets. That was a series. The last time we were all on the air together, Brooklyn had beat Milwaukee so bad it was by about 50 points, close to 50. You guys are like, the series is basically over, I thought. But I did put up a question, and I said, when you beat a team that bad, it can reignite a team, and I did say that because the same thing happened in the Celtics-Lakers series. Celtics ended up losing that series. And I think it's literally happening now. So, Tal, I'm going to throw it out to you because now we had some injuries and the series is tied. Do you think the Brooklyn Nets Milwaukee Bucks series is going to go 7? Do you think Milwaukee's going to pull it out? And does the Kyrie Irving injury look as serious as you think it's as serious as it looks?
That's what I was going to say. It has nothing to do with the ass whooping they took. The ass whooping is the ass whooping. And that's the ass whooping when the Nets are firing on most cylinders. Here's the problem. And this is what I said through the whole year. You can go back to the shows and quote me when I said, all you got to do is keep playing because these injuries for the Nets are going to reoccur and everybody got a shot to win and beat the Nets. And look what happened. And now, without a Kyrie Irving and a James Harden out, Milwaukee got the series.
Yeah. So I think, Fig, what's your thought?
I think, well, clearly to me, is the game 1 and 2 was officiated one way. Game 3 and 4 was officiated another way. They're letting the guys, actually, it's not even both ways. They're letting the guys get a little aggressive and a little physical on the Milwaukee side. And that is the way that you equalize talent when you're allowed to play a physical brand of basketball. I don't know why they allowed it. I have my own little theories. Possibly, it probably is a bad look for Giannis to go out and to get swept since he was the MVP of the league. He's been there for a while, and maybe the league don't like super teams or whatever and stuff like that, and they're letting these guys get a little aggressive and stuff like that. But clearly, Milwaukee has been the more aggressive team. And since we were talking about fouls, Frank, that foul, that play where Kyrie got injured, that's a flagrant one. That's been called all year long. If a player goes up, an offensive player goes up, and he doesn't have a clear place to land, and he steps on somebody's foot, every play for the whole year and beyond, that's been a flagrant one. There's 2 shots in the ball, and they didn't call it on Giannis, and I don't know why, but it just looks really suspect to me the way they're officiating the game.
Okay, Rodney Perry, what's your thoughts?
Hey man, they giving y'all what y'all asked for. You guys, I mean, this game ain't physical enough, so they letting them be physical.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a matter of time for somebody to get choked out there. You got to beware what you ask for because you might get it.
Right.
Beware what you ask for, you might get it. But the question that speaks to the Nets, again, same thing I said to y'all last week. Calm down, man. I don't know how y'all go through these emotional swings. Look, these are 2 really good teams. The Nets are going to be all right. This is the thing. The Nets are still good if they only have Kevin Durant.
True.
They're still really goddamn good. Like, I'm talking about really super good. With Kevin Durant by his damn self. And how about this? Kevin Durant, in order to step into that LeBron space, Kevin Durant may need to do this by himself.
Interesting thought process. Amir, what you think?
Personally, I said this last week. I thought that one of the real keys to Milwaukee, trying to make any noise in this particular series is they had to go inside. The last 2 games, whether you talk about the physicality of the game, they went inside. Giannis, those last 2 games, has been dunking on people. He's been backing cats down. He's going to the basket like Giannis does. All this jump shooting nonsense that they was doing, dudes are not doing that. I also said that in order for any team to really flourish in this playoffs, you got to have a combination of outside shooting and inside shooting. So now you see guys making those 15 to 17 footers like they need to do for all those teams that, no, we're just going to put up threes. Why? Most of y'all aren't great 3-point shooters. Knock it off. You're a big man. Get your big ass down in the paint and do what you're supposed to do. Get baskets. That's what you do. That's why you're a big man. All this stuff dudes do.
I don't know if you sound like a coach or a father. Get your big ass down in the paint.
Yeah, like come on. It's,
I like Gangsta Amir. I like what
but I do, to this particular, series, I do like the fact that it's tied up. And now, we have a series. We have to see what these guys are made of. And to Rodney's last point, he's absolutely right. We talked about this, last week. You said we trying to figure out if they can find somebody to, step into LeBron's shoes. Maybe this is the opportunity for Kevin Durant to do that. So we got to wait and see.
You know what? The one caveat to this is that it's been one-sided. Like when the Nets try and dish out their pound of flesh, the referees were blowing the whistle. It was allowed to. It was predominantly going.
Only you see this, man. You're the only person seeing the game this way. Everybody else is enjoying the game. I'll tell you this. Everybody's enjoying the game.
Same thing happened to LeBron. The same thing happened to LeBron this shit.
This ain't got nothing
It happened to LeBron. They follow LeBron around and
don't play for the Nets or the Bucks. Just as that LeBron is on vacation. I'm not talking about LeBron.
It's the same thing happening. The same thing you complain about happening to LeBron.
The Nets and the Bucks is the thing is that the Nets.
Oh, you a Nets fan now?
Of going to the free throw line 23 times a game. In the last 2 games, they've only gone to the line 23 times in the last 2 games, as opposed to going to the line 23 times a game. That's the point.
Okay. Look, they miss calls in every playoff game or make calls. That's a part of the game, Fig. To the point that you made earlier. All the stuff that's a part of the game, like I said, when it fits your narrative, that's when it's okay. When it doesn't fit your narrative, we're against it. I'm confused.
You know how I love it? This is how you can tell that it went back to old school. What was the score of game 3? It was in the 80s, right?
Yes.
That's an old school game. That's a knockout, drag out fight. Old school game where neither team got 100 points. That's old school basketball. But the NBA legislated that out. And all of a sudden, for this particular series, they allowed it. And I don't know why. It's confusing. As a player, you get
we gotta get ready to go.
One way.
Y'all can call each other. Y'all can call each other.
Same thing happened in the Lakers series. Now you notice. Welcome.
All right, y'all, we gotta get ready to go. Tell everybody out there how they can follow you. You all can finish this conversation because we can
That's about on vacation too.
You can find me at I'm now a NetsFan.com /big/ because I'm from Brooklyn. Hey, catch the boy on Twitter. It's just comedy. Catch me today, myself in the mirror at 6 o'clock on WhamsRadio.com with our Motivational Monday, man. Please.
Great.
Yo, you can holler at your boy Comedian Fig on social media platforms. Boxies Monday through Friday, 1 to 2 p.m. And I'm 100% a Knicks fan, always and forever.
Rodney Perry.
Hey, what up, guys? It's your boy Rodney Perry. RodneyPerry.com is the website. And Rodney Perry Live is all the social media. And I'm Fig, can you send me the number to your barber, man? I need some curls.
Amir, somebody has to follow you.
Amir Sealy on Facebook, and on IG is A-Rock Sealy right there at the bottom. And I'm usually hanging out with this crew here. Love these guys. Gentlemen, it's always a pleasure to get on here and rap with y'all.
Hey, Rock Sealy in the building. Word up, son. Hey, Rock Sealy, do that.
Amir, thank you for taking out the time and being on the show, bro. I appreciate you. You all can find me on I'mGonna-paybacktalent.com for that joke he said earlier. It's under the page of I Don't Forget, nigga.
Yo, that shit was so obvious, though, Frank.
Barber is called It's in the Genes.
It's No Love Boxy. The name of the channel's Hubert Bill. We'll be back tomorrow. We still on the page of trying to get guests. We don't know why they don't want to show up. It might be some sly comments that Rodney Perry says. It might be. There might be some slick stuff where Rodney Perry says, "Show me the link of where it said because you lying." I don't know, but we'll find. We'll find all that out. We'll find all that out this week when I try to get another guest. We'll find that out. All right, y'all. We gotta get ready to go. That's the show. And I'm grateful that I don't hear no New Edition music. So y'all, peace.